So we're here now. This is Suzanne. That's where we're going. Grunes de Nord Ouest.
I suggest you all go to lane.
Yeah.
And you get blown off the rent, then put it up. There is a fish spot that goes west of the rent, so there's a chance for fine.
Gotta get ready for dive number 2. Another shipwreck. Bit of a disclaimer, if we don't find the shipwreck we're going to swim off and look for some fish anyway, so it's a problem with these. We're not going to shoot them, there's too much tide. Getting ready for dive 2 on the Dagenham, all where, we're not sure which one's which. Okay, we can go up that way and drop in. Lovely. So people sometimes ask me, what's it like when you jump in the water? What do you see? Well, you don't see much really. You sort of swim down, or I wouldn't say you swim down, maybe you sink down, and then the seabed just appears. And the viz is absolutely stunning. I'd say it's 20 metres at the moment. So straight looking out for the shipwreck, looking at anything that's not quite natural looking. And I look at this thing, I go, oh, what's this? And it was just a rock. Oh well, keep looking. Ah, something that doesn't look natural. What is this? Oh, it's just a plastic waste pipe that someone dumped. And this is another really good sign, another crayfish. And this one's probably big enough to take just, but we're not allowed to. It's got his little antennae have been trimmed right back on this one. They're very short. So just having a look around the same rocks to see if there's any more. You normally get 1 or 2 together. But no, on the other side we got a lobster. Still on the lookout for any bits of shipwreck or anything that catches my eye. We're now probably on the southwestern corner of the Grunes. You should see some of the boulders down here have obviously been rolling around on the seabed, and some of them are almost perfectly round. This here is the male cuckoo wrasse. They're a lot more colourful. The females are like a very pale brown with a couple of spots on the back. So it seems like we've come into a bit of a wrasse hole around here, because there's a massive amount of wrasse all of a sudden congregated around us. I like to check in all these gaps, because sometimes you see John Dory's jammed up in these gaps. There's not so many big spider crabs around this side of the island, I've noticed. I think we're actually in the wrasse hole now. These two fish here are female cuckoo wrasse with the spots on their backs. Seems a good healthy amount of wrasse here, especially the male cuckoos and the female cuckoos. One thing I've noticed about the rocks around here, they're all covered in like a white hair, like a very thin, fine hair. Still not looking very good to find this shipwreck. And this is a yellow hedgehog sponge. And here we have a soapy starfish. Onto the next rock, which has red fingers coral. And here we have a wrasse with a parasite on his head. Sometimes when I'm diving I always think to myself someone's watching me or something's following me. And there they are, a large wrasse and a cuckoo wrasse. The cuckoo wrasse seems to follow me around quite a bit. And this is a boring sponge. Not quite sure what this one is, but it's pretty funky. It's like dark grey with little holes inside it. I love running my hand through this sand. It's so coarse yet soft at the same time. Ideal habitat for flatfish or rays. There's another cat shark egg with his little tendrils attached to a silted up sea fan. So I've now come into another wrasse hole. So on this reef on the southern side of the Grunes, you get little rocks with holes in, and loads of wrasse come swimming out of them when you come up to them. Some of these are really colourful, and this is a wrasse hole here just under this big rock here. So you've probably noticed by now we actually haven't found the wreck. We looked for it, we looked everywhere around the southern side of it as well, but now it's time to go up. And just as we send up the delayed, the tide starts screaming. One little last look down on the sand, see if we can find a flatfish. Not quite sure how Phil is exhaling out of his hand. Loads of these little sea gooseberries floating around. Pretty cool. So whenever we do our safety stops, we tend to find these big jellyfish. This is probably 6-7 inches across, this thing, and almost completely see-through. So what we're looking at here is an absolute monster of a boiler that's been upended on itself. And this little pole in the background is the rudder post. And if you look laying next to it, we got some large sheeting, some large ship's plates, and we have a triple expansion engine laying on its side. So we can measure this boiler when we visit it next and try and tally up, is it the Dagenham or is it the Ware? So on that one, we were meant to hit them boilers on the first dive, but we didn't, so we missed them, so we had a lovely reef dive in the end. And then Paul went in and done his dive and then tied his delayed up to that boiler. So me and Phil quick chucked another tank on, decided to go down and have a little look. I think it's well worth it. That's a nice surprise. These are the sort of surprises you like. And look at it now. It's blasting right out. But we got to go home. Got stuff to do. So it seems we still have some unfinished business with them wrecks. I'm going to have to come back, I'm going to have to measure them, and I'm going to have to try and get a formal ID done on them. If anyone knows that's watching this film and they know for sure, factually, that it's the boilers that are standing up at the Dagenham or the Ware, please let me know. But I'm going to try and look into this mystery a bit more. Thanks again for joining me on another little adventure out on the west coast. Please like and subscribe if you like the content and you haven't subscribed already. And as always, I'll catch you on the next tide.